when I think about some of the machine learning and AI that I think most of us have been using for years and years, search engines and so forth, there's always a little question in the back of my mind which is, how good are these results? What's the veracity here? Can I trust in these results? And when I think about money's very emotional for most of us. So to me, there's a little bit of oil and water there. How do you maintain the trust in the tech and the platform and in the results? Could you speak to that a little bit? Because certainly in our world, trust is everything. Without trust, we're out of business. Give me some feedback from your perspective, if you don't mind.
So I'll take this one, Dean. So I'll come out pretty boldly and say, do not trust AI, especially as it pertains to financial information. And I'll give you a specific example that happened last week. I was contacted by a large customer looking for a piece of financial information, very precise numeric information. I, at that time, had 3 different AI programs up and running. I got 3 different answers. Okay. So am I going to go back to this customer and give them 3 different answers? And the answer, of course, is no. So how can I sort through this? Because I do want to turn AI on for this type of stuff because it can be super helpful. So I'm going to need 2 things. One, I'm going to need some confidence indicator on how confident the AI is with that particular result. And finally, I'm going to need to be able to understand very quickly where that number came from. So I need source documentation. Once I was able to confirm that information, I realized that the platform that I was looking at, one of the platforms, which happens to be our product, was correct. And that's what I sent off, and off we went. So I'm going to look for confidence scores, and I need full auditability of where that decision, where that data come from. And I need that to be available to me forever. Because I'm on the hook as a human being for that decision. The AI is not. So I need to make sure that if I'm ever called to question, I can provide the full disclosure as to how everything was generated.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting, sorry to interrupt, I just wasn't expecting someone who works in AI to say, don't trust AI, but what you said makes sense. Sorry, Joanne, you go ahead, and then Kevin, will toss it to you.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm a little bit softer in my answer because I'm a little bit more like on the human side, right? Is that if I've got a new employee, I don't trust them necessarily right off the bat either. And so I build that trust through interaction and verifying their results. So it's a little bit where Jet got to in terms of, same with human interaction, same with the AI. I want to know where is it getting its source and how is it getting its source of data? And those are really important things to surface. And not only in the immediate term, but also 3 or 4 months, I might not remember what that was. So having that history as well and understanding that traceability later in the future is really important.
I completely agree, both with Jet and Joanne. Trust is earned. Trust is earned with AI as well, and we can't forget about that. So if we look at, this might be a good time to just jump into talking about demo. So hopefully my screen is being shared. I'm not going to get into a full thing. I do want to talk about the trust element. Any AI that you are using, especially in the world of finance, you have to know, just to what Joanne said, you have to know where the information is coming from and how it's getting the information. It just can't be citing some random sources. You actually have to know exactly where that information is coming from. It's part of the reason we like being in a regulated market, and the regulations are tightening up. So auditability. So to go back to even what Jet was saying, it's important to know that information on how the AI made a decision can be fetched and understood 3 years after the fact. A lot of financial organizations have regulatory requirements around data retention. Investment bankers are on the hook for decisions that are going to be made, and it's important for them to establish trust. If we look at just a sampling of, this is my production account, and I'm looking at different companies for different reasons. And I'm managing a portfolio of companies, and I want to know different information about these. One of the ones I looked into today was Johnson & Johnson, which is pretty interesting. And if I go here and I look at it, I know a lot of the AI results that are coming up from our AI digging up information. And we have to know where that information is coming from in order for us to trust it. And one of the things I dove into, if you're talking about insights, one of the insights that was brought up was biosimilars. And biosimilars are impacting Johnson & Johnson for particular reasons. So I need an analytical view of the world of how important this is. And the AI highlighted right away, about 12.8%. So they've got diversification within their product portfolio to really address the biosimilars that might be coming out. But the AI also highlighted the fact that the patents are expiring, which may give some competitive pressures back to Johnson & Johnson. Now, to go to the veracity of the information, where did you get this from? So we have this concept of verified by AI of, I got this from direct sources, including the 10K filing and including FactSet. So to go back to trust, the reason that we partnered with FactSet is to establish trust in the data that we're getting. We want that consistency. We want the trust. We want to be able to ensure the veracity of anything that's proven out there. So we can now go and say the AI is pulling it from the 10K and pulling it from the FactSet, and it's cross-referencing everything. Versus the same question I asked, but I wanted more of a market sentiment view of the world, which means I need a different perspective. This is the multi-dimensions, the parallel universe, if you will. And in this particular case, if I click on it, where did you get this information? Again, I need to know exactly where you got it, how you got it, and how you're using that information. And the AI pulls that up for you. So you can verify everything that the AI is getting to earn the trust. Now, the other interesting one, if I go down even into their earnings call, because a lot of companies will do their earnings call, nobody wants to sit through them. You want the synopsis, the Cliff Note version, but you wanted to know key points and insights. What's important? So there's a lot of things talked about, but what's important for me? And you can see here that the AI is throwing out some nice terms, very similar to what you might be seeing for consumer grade AI and large language models. They're just pumping things out. These numbers have to be accurate. They better be accurate. They have to be accurate. And this is really where we focused a lot on, because if I click on this to do verified, just the earnings call, it had to listen to it, had to synthesize it, but it had to cross-reference it to the 10K and to the FactSet information and to anything else that's coming off the street accounts detail. And that's where the power of multidimensional comes in, is really from a compliance and regulatory perspective, you can prove that this is accurate. And not to blindly trust it, we want to make this visible. You can see here, I can click in, I can go deeper if I want to, but the idea is to allow the analysts to interact with the AI so that the AI can earn its trust on anything that's producing.